Welcome, new players, to the official Europa Universalis V tutorial course. I am your host, Benjamin Magnus, and I am joined today by my friend, Little Lorris here. Now you may be wondering, why is this 5-part series prefaced with a 6th video? This video specifically covers a few in-game settings and UI elements unrelated to gameplay. Welcome to the main menu! Come, your destiny awaits! This is your main menu. It is pretty self-explanatory. Here on the main menu, there's a few things to point out. Starting on the right-hand side, we have a button here that will allow you to manage your DLCs and mods. You'll be able to make a playset of different DLCs and different mods, save those playsets, and then load them later for quick access. Here at the bottom, you'll be able to find new information about Europa Universalis V. It could be information about a new DLC, new offerings, perhaps a dev diary. If you're an achievement hunter, like I am, you can find information about all the achievements in EU5 right here. Now, let's check out a couple settings. In the graphical settings, you'll want to experiment and change settings depending on your PC. Everybody's PC is different, and you'll want to change things to get the right balance between performance and graphical fidelity. Capping your maximum FPS can avoid stressing out your PC components by preventing them from rendering more frames than are necessary to really play the game. I cap mine at 60. Some people don't like the blurry effect that depth of field gives you, so some people might want to turn that one off. Clicking here will allow you to turn off the animated character portraits, and this button here will allow you to replace the multiple unit armies that you'll see in EU5 with single unit armies more akin to what you would have seen in EU4. The map tab will allow you to customize some of the visuals on the map. For example, changing the province names so that they are always on or always off instead of just when you mouse over it, or filling in the impassable terrain. Heading to the game tab, you can change your clock format to be the 12-hour or the 24-hour version. And these two options right here will tell the game how to behave when a war starts and when units enter combat. Two scenarios that could be easy to overlook in certain circumstances. In the interface tabs, you can find GUI scaling. I personally am playing on a 2K monitor and have set the GUI scaling to 130% for better readability. Confirm mode is something new to EU5. Some important decisions in-game, like declaring a war, will now require you to confirm that you really do want to do that thing. You have two options. Dialogue, which will pop open a dialog box asking, do you really want to do that? Or you can use the hold option, which will just require you to hold down the mouse button longer than a standard click. Further on down the list, you can find the tooltip mode. In EU5, almost everything in the game has an associated tooltip to give you more information about that thing. Your options to interact with the tooltip are mouse tendency, timer lock, action lock, or timer or action lock. Timer requires you to hold the mouse button over the tooltip to lock it on the screen, and action lock requires you to hit a button to lock it onto the screen. I personally prefer action lock, and the default button for this is the middle mouse button. All the timers you find below that are how the tooltips will appear on the screen when you're interacting with the game. And you might want to change some of these settings based on personal preferences. For now, we're going to leave them as default, but do remember that they're here in case you want to change the behavior of the tooltips when they pop up. Back at the main menu, we're going to click New Game for the first time, and we'll be greeted with a Welcome to Europa Universalis V pop-up. If you are an experienced Paradox player or just want to dive in on your own, you can click the checkbox that says Do Not Show This Again and click Select Any Country. That way, whenever you start a new game in the future, you'll be brought straight to the Select Country screen. But for now, we're going to click Select a Recommended Country. Here we could find a small selection of countries that will have tutorials linked to them that focus on politics, expansion, and the economy. Expansion will focus on your army and your navy, declaring war on your enemies and taking control by force. Economic nations will focus on markets, production, and trade. And nations with the politics tag will focus on internal administration while navigating a melting pot of cultures and securing your borders and dynasties through marriages and alliances. We have curated these choices and connected them to one of these playstyles to help you focus on a wide variety of adventures and lessons in the world of EU5. Once selected, you'll be given a quick description of the nation, as well as a description of the playstyle. In this series, we'll be playing with the tutorials off, but if you would like to continue your learnings, you can play through with the tutorials on in all of these nations to gain more information. Moving on, we're going to see what happens if you click Select Any Country instead of Select a Recommended Country. This is our in-game lobby. Within the lobby, you can click around the map and get information on any of the countries in the world. Starting at the top of the screen, we've got a button to return you to the main menu, a random country button, which you can click to randomly pick a country. The Observer button will allow you to play a AI-only game. You will not control a nation, and when you unpause, all countries in the game will simulate without your intervention. The small flag icon will hide the country panel if you have it open. Moving over to the right, this button is for Game Rules. The Game Rules tab will allow you to customize many in-game variables to your liking. You can also save that as a preset so you can quick load it later. One thing to note is that changing a lot of in-game rules will disable Iron Man mode and make achievements not possible. The next button will allow you to select a country via a list instead of the map if you're looking for something specific. You can sort these by name, by difficulty, by country type, by population, and by the amount of unique content that those countries have. And the final button is for multiplayer options. When you finally select a country, the country panel will pop up, giving you further information. At the top of the panel, there are several icons that will depict in-game information about this country. For instance, England is a monarchy, is a settled country, and is a kingdom rank. Further over, you'll see that we have hundreds of dynamic historical events unique to England, and we have several dozen country bonuses also unique to England. Different countries will have varying amounts of unique content. The Overview tab will give you a brief rundown about that country's starting scenario. The Content tab will give you a rundown of all the unique content that that country has. And Description will give you some flavor. We can take a brief moment to test out our nested tooltips here as well. If we simply hover over the word English, we could get a brief rundown of the English culture in the world. If we want further information from this panel, all we have to do is lock this tooltip and then hover over another one, and so on and so forth down the line. Most elements in the game will have a tooltip attached to them to help you navigate the complex world of Europa Universalis V. For now, I'm going to select Hungary and click Play as Hungary. You may want to take a look at the message settings as well. Those can be found in the in-game menu here. You'll be able to find information for every notification in the game, and if you're looking for something specific, you could simply use the search bar. Your options will be, will the message be logged? Will the message be a pop-up? Will the message pause the game? And will the message pop up on the map? This is the kind of thing you'll probably want to customize as you go. Every different player and every different run might want different message settings depending on what your goals are and what is important to you. Navigating your in-game world will use simple, traditional PC controls. The WASD keys will move you around the map. Left-click to select. Hover for a tooltip. Holding the middle mouse button will allow you to tilt the camera around. And the speed controls are in the upper right-hand corner. The game has 5 speeds, 1 being the slowest, 5 being the fastest. Something to note is that Speed 5 will attempt to run the game as fast as your CPU can process the information, so a faster computer will run the game at a faster speed. Speeds 1 through 4 will attempt to run the game at a specifically programmed rate. You can change the speed by clicking on the corresponding icons on the screen, or by using the plus/minus keys on your keyboard. The spacebar will pause and unpause the game as well. Those are the absolute basics you'll need to play the game. So you're ready to kickstart your journey into the world of Europa Universalis V. So feel free to join me and Lorris in the next video.